Hello and welcome to the weekly episodic B Sports Entertainment Show starring me, Jason Miller, and check this out. Night of Champions was very good, but I do think WWE dropped the ball Monday, Friday, afterwards, okay? Obviously it's Monday, Tuesday if you go by when the shows actually happened, but you know what I mean. And like I said, Night of Champions was very good, but I think a lot of it had to do with the Roman Reigns injury as to where creative is a little bit confused as to where to go, and they seem like they're in a holding pattern with Raw and SmackDown there afterwards. A couple of things, the tag team division, I'm very excited. It was a very good match, and very good matches in subsequent after with Goldust and Stardust obviously winning the belts. The rematch was good. I liked the false finish, if you will, and it looked like that the Usos were going to win it back, and then of course, you know, Goldust cheats with the belt. I mean, I like the idea of them having the belt. I think what WWE needs to do is force more tag teams out there. Like Kofi Kingston and Big E, I think that would be a very solid tag team to feud with Gold and Stardust. That should be something that they look into. There's not enough face teams to feud with the semi-heel, you know, Stardust Goldust tag team, and I think that's the issue that I see going forward, because I do think that the Usos and Goldust will be in a little bit of a feud here for the next 2 months or so, but then after that, I don't know what they do with the tag team division. And maybe they'll bring up the Lucha Matador people, I don't know, the Lucha somethings, whatever they are, you know, the guys down at the tag team champions from NXT. I think that they could definitely come up, but I don't know exactly what they're doing there. So I'm excited for the tag team division if they make it go forward. But again, you know, very good matches through all them. I did not like the Intercontinental Hot Potato that they're doing. I hate when they play that with the belts. I can't stand that. They need to make the belts feel more important. But I didn't like a lot of what they did. First of all, I can't believe they had Florida Georgia Line on a pay-per-view sit there and take away so much from that Intercontinental match at Night of Champions. I hated that. And then, and honestly, I mean, I was okay with Miz winning. It really surprised me, but I'm not okay with Dolph winning it the next night. I don't understand why even bother. Why even do that? They also, I mean, I enjoyed the Battle Royal that they had on Friday. Again, I liked Kofi's performance again. I still don't understand why he can't get more airtime, especially in a 3-hour Raw. Get him on TV more. But anyway, I like Kofi's performance in the Battle Royal. I like the idea of Sheamus winning, or not Sheamus, Cesaro winning, and then Cesaro actually, you know, the match with Dolph. I know what they're doing there, and that's why I think that's everything. Everything's in a holding pattern right now. They don't know. They're a little confused in creative, because obviously Cesaro reaches for the rope. He holds on to, again, this happened at SmackDown. I know usually we'll talk about SmackDown, but this is what happened. I can't believe they had, you know, all those title matches on SmackDown. It's very rare. But you have Cesaro holding on the rope and the referee not seeing it. But again, if you watch the replay, the referee literally counts to 4. He really does. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a blooper for you. But anyway, it didn't take away from the match. It was a really good match. And I think they're just in a holding pattern there because they need that to hold over. And it's the same deal with the tag team division. They want that match to happen again. So that's going to be going towards Hell in a Cell, I'm sure. Now, the United States Championship stole the show at Night of Champions. I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus, again, seems like I'm talking about Cesaro a lot. I wonder why. I wonder why WWE, I mean, why would I be talking about him so much? Why? Because he's a great performer. That's why. And honestly, he's probably going to beat Dolph Ziggler for the IC strap. That's probably where this whole thing's going. And I'm okay with that. I mean, honestly, I'd turn him into a face because I think right now, they need faces who are legit. It seems like they have a lot of monster heels going, and they don't have the faces to match up with the heels, especially now that Reigns is gone for months. They're in trouble. So, let's see. The Divas division. Nikki did a better job than I thought she would at Night of Champions in the Triple Threat match. I don't understand why we really didn't see Brie that in that aspect of it. Then we saw her the next night, but I don't know, and just in a boring promo that nobody cared about. So I don't. It kills me what they do with these. I don't. And now, obviously, they just talk about Total Divas, and it's so funny because even though I don't watch Total Divas, I'm smart enough to know that the Total Divas show is taped months I can't even talk, months in advance. So why do you pretend that Total Divas just happened last night and then we're going to have a match to settle the score from what happened in the Total Divas show that literally happened 3 or 4 months ago? That's stupid. Now, I know that sometimes they treat the WWE audience as morons, and this is one of the instances where they do, because obviously those things aren't matching up time-wise, so don't pretend that they are. So dumb. And I guess it's good that other divas are actually getting TV time, but both Raw and SmackDown, that was just those filler matches, just didn't do anything for me. I mean, they're okay, but I don't know. I bring up the NXT divas and knock this crap off. I don't know what they're waiting for. So I'm still surprised where they're going with it, because AJ won the belt, and they're still, I think what they're doing is that they let AJ win that belt because they don't know if Nikki and Brie can have a feud that people will care about, and that's why they're sort of giving them other TV time on the side, because they're just not sure what to do. And I think that's what a lot of Raw and SmackDown was this past week. It's feeling out, because I think the Reigns injury really, really derailed a lot of the plans that they had. Because I think, as much as I love Ambrose, I feel like Ambrose was really heavy Ambrose with the match against Kane, and the run-in stealing of the Money in the Bank, contract, which actually is the route that they need to go. I think they need to have a Money in the Bank match with Rollins and Ambrose for the case, because as long as Lesnar is that guy, as long as Lesnar has the strap, Ambrose should be the guy that has the case, because it just makes sense to have a face be the one who comes in to cash in. Not Rollins. I don't think that's very exciting. I mean, I'm sure live crowds probably get excited when anybody gets ready to cash in the case, mainly because they want to be there and say, hey, I was in Albany, New York when blah 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 cashed in. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure in the grand scheme of people, they would rather see a face come in to be that guy that actually cashes in. So that's something they ought to look into, especially if they're going to keep this. I'm not saying Ambrose has to win. Let him cash in and lose. I don't care about all that. I'm just saying that they need to, for storyline purposes, they should try to get that case away from Rollins if Lesnar is really the guy who's going to have that belt until May, or WrestleMania, which I guess isn't in May, obviously, but you know what I mean, until the springtime. So I do like the idea that they finally gave Rusev a loss on SmackDown. I'm surprised they did it on SmackDown again. And I know it was just a disqualification. It wasn't actually a pinfall. The whole Rusev storyline, I mean, with Mark Henry, I was not excited for that match. That match really wasn't good. Mark Henry, once again, very underrated in his non-wrestling stuff. You know, I mean, his ability to cry is really good. I mean, he's actually a pretty good actor. I know I've said this before, but if you have not seen it, go look at the Mark Henry retirement scene with Cena. One of the top 5 promos that I've seen in the last 5 years. Definitely. Go watch that. If you don't remember it, go watch it again. It's that good. I do think Mark Henry's underused for that, because I think he has a lot of promo in him. His matches are just slow and plodding because he's Mark Henry. What do you expect out of him? Now, on the flip side of the good stuff from Rusev, I really did like the Big Show match. That was a lot better than I thought it would be. And maybe it's just because I had such low expectations. And it's hard to say how much sound they pipe into those SmackDown shows, but the crowd seemed really, really into Rusev getting knocked out. They really did. You know, obviously that was after the match if you haven't seen it yet. But I really do like that Rusev's monster heel character, but I'm not sure where the end game is because none of these guys ever work out. And it's funny, you know, I had a conversation with one of my friends who's watching this video earlier today about how they feed these guys to Cena, these monster heels that they build up, feed them to Cena, and then they just fall off the face of the earth. And that's what scares me, that Rusev's going to be that next guy that loses to Cena and then falls off the face of the earth. So I hope that's not the route he goes in, because for a guy who's 320 pounds, boy, he's athletic. He can really, really move. And I think Rusev definitely has a future. But again, it just depends on the booking. It's what it all revolves around. It's creative. Jericho. I really, really like Jericho's last match. I think Jericho and Orton was probably the second best match. I haven't gotten to the first one yet. The second best match of Night of Champions. I can't say I'm surprised, because I knew the two of them have good chemistry. If you ever notice, there's a couple guys out there that Orton has really, really good chemistry with. Cena's not one of them, by the way. I can't believe that that's what they gave you on Raw was Randy Orton and John Cena for the 248th time. I don't understand why that was the route they went there, but that's not that important right now. But there's certain guys like a Jericho, like a Christian. I know Christian might never come back, but certain guys that Orton has really, really good chemistry with, and when he goes with them, their matches are always good. And like I said, that match, it went exactly how I thought it would with the finish, and Orton needed a win at this stage. Again, that's something that, honestly, as much as I cannot stand Orton's character, he's good in the ring, I just can't, although some of the matches are slow, but I think he might be the guy they need to push to the face right now. That might be what's going on when if he laid that line, again, I guess it was Raw, getting him confused because I'm talking about too many wrestling shows, but he gave that line where, I'm sick of putting out Seth's fires. This could be something going towards a Randy Orton face turn, because they need somebody else. Somebody else has to be a face. I don't know who. If they're not going to do it with Cesaro, then maybe it's got to be Randy Orton. Somebody else has to be a guy. So maybe it is him. Don't know, but so yeah, that match went the way it went. Yeah, that match went the way it went. It was very good. Now, I think the best match of Night of Champions was the Sheamus Cesaro match. That one move that it's hard to describe, in the corner where Cesaro picked up Sheamus into the, you know what I'm talking about. That was nuts. It was a really good match. I don't know what's next for Sheamus. The rumor online was that the Wyatts were going to go after Dolph Ziggler. Now I'm hoping that the Wyatts go after Sheamus, because I want the Wyatts on TV. I can't understand, and honestly, of all the stuff that I've complained about from WWE, I think this is the one thing that is the most glaring, I don't think that's a word, most apparent thing that has happened in the last week here. The Wyatt family has not been on TV now for 3 straight pay-per-views, or 3 straight shows. Not on Sunday Night of Champions, not Monday Raw, not Friday SmackDown, and so either has Paul Heyman. Now Paul Heyman was at Night of Champions, but he didn't come out and say anything during the week. And I understand that you got a part-time champion, but you probably got to have the guy talk about him every show. You can't just pretend he's not there. I don't see how that's okay. I guess they thought they could pull that off for the first week, and maybe it's all just a regroup thing because Reigns isn't there. I don't know, but they got to fix this come Monday. They have to. I do hope, after seeing everything that's developed here in this last week, that going into Hell in a Cell, that they actually have more than one Hell in a Cell match, because obviously the last thing I need to talk about is the actual Lesnar-Cena match, which was very, very good. I thought that's the story they had to tell after the total annihilation of Lesnar at the previous pay-per-view. Here at Night of Champions, they had to make Cena into Super Cena, and I know people hate that, but that's what he had to do in order for you to think that Cena was going to be able to win that match. And I know a lot of people didn't like the Rollins run-in, but you had to have the Rollins run-in. What were you going to do? That's how it had to. That's how it had to play out. It had to play out the way it did. So, yeah, that match was better than I thought it would be, actually. And you're obviously going to get the rubber match because, again, you know, Cena won by DQ or, well, whatever it was. And they need to have a Hell in the Cell Cena Lesnar and a Hell in a Cell Ambrose Rollins. That's what they need to do, okay? And I know there's been some talk of a Divas Hell in a Cell match, and maybe that's what they're doing with the Bella Twins. Oh my gosh, I hope not. I don't think they could carry that, but I'd be okay with that too if they want to have more Hell in a Cell matches. Why not just have a pay-per-view with all the Hell in a Cells? I don't know. Every single match, Hell in a Cell, Hell in a Cell, Hell in a Cell. Obviously, they're not going to do that. I'm sure that would take some of the specialness away, so not do that. But they should at least definitely have two. They shouldn't just have one. It shouldn't just be Lesnar and Cena in that main event, Hell in a Cell, next month. So ultimately, if you take anything from the last 20 minutes that you've wasted of your life, you need to make sure that WWE needs to have the creative booking better. That's what it boils down to. The talent is there all around. It really is, and you can see it. Even as bad as the booking decisions and the creative storyline was in the last week, the match qualities were all really good. They really were. And I just want the storyline to catch up with the match quality, and boy, we'd be cruising then. That's what we need to have. So, again, you know, I guess the good news is that I am looking forward to the next Raw because I think the Reigns injury kind of derailed them. So, but that said, if Raw is bad if it's bad on Monday, I am going to go off because, okay, enough of this. They needed to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D in place by then. You know what I mean? They need to be ready for anything that could come at them, Reigns hurt or not, whatever. Anyway, should be good. See you next week.